6 months after the Great Fleet's surrender, the galaxy was changing in ways no one had imagined possible. The human ships that had once terrified entire star systems now traveled between worlds as healers and teachers. Captain Tae-jin found himself doing something he had never expected, serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador. Standing in the rebuilt council chamber on Nexus Station, Tae-jin watched representatives from 43 species work together on problems that had seemed impossible just a year ago. The Valdris and Nathari, who had been enemies for centuries, now shared research on psychic healing. The Zentari had given up their planet-killing weapons and were building hospitals instead. Ambassador Tae-jin called Chairman Peltar. The Corvan Republic is requesting human assistance with their energy crisis. Tae-jin nodded. Dr. Somin's team is already on the way. They'll have clean power running to every Corvan world within a week. It still amazed him how quickly things had changed. Once the galaxy's species saw what human technology could really do, they had stopped being afraid and started being hopeful. The same ships that could rewrite the laws of physics were now fixing damaged worlds and curing diseases that had plagued civilizations for thousands of years. On the planet Zerion 4, engineer Mirai worked with a team of Zentari scientists to repair their world's dying atmosphere. The planet had been poisoned by industrial accidents centuries ago, making it barely livable for its 3 billion inhabitants. The atmosphere processors are working perfectly, Mirai reported to the Zentari planetary governor. Your air will be clean again within 6 months. The governor, an elderly Zentari named Vixtal, stared at the massive human machines that were literally rebuilding his world's sky. How can we ever repay this kindness? Teach us about your mathematics, Mirai replied with a smile. Zentari geometric theories could help us build even better machines. This was how humanity worked now. They gave freely of their advanced technology, asking only for knowledge and friendship in return. Every species had something unique to offer, and the humans were eager to learn from all of them. Commander Kim had perhaps the strangest new job of all. His ship, the Peacekeeper, now patrolled the galaxy's trouble spots, but not to fight battles. Instead, his crew specialized in preventing wars before they could start. Captain, his communications officer reported, we're receiving a distress call from the Rigel system. The local species are preparing for civil war. Set course for Rigel, Kim ordered. Let's see if we can help them find a better solution. When the Peacekeeper arrived at Rigel, Kim found 2 groups of the local bird-like species ready to destroy each other over ancient territorial disputes. Instead of taking sides, he did something that would have been impossible before human technology. We're going to show you both what your conflict looks like from outside, Kim announced to the rival leaders. Using the ship's reality manipulation systems, Kim created a perfect 3-dimensional map of the Rigel system that floated in space between the opposing fleets. But this wasn't just a map. It was a living display that showed the effects of every possible choice. The bird people watched in horror as the map showed what their war would do to their world. Cities burning, children starving, their beautiful flying forests destroyed by weapons. But they also saw what cooperation could achieve. A planet where both groups prospered and their young could soar through clean skies. The choice is yours, Kim told them. We cannot force peace on you, but we can show you what peace looks like. The rival leaders stared at the floating images of their possible futures. Within an hour, they were negotiating instead of fighting. Back on Earth, Admiral Sujin stood in the newly completed Global Harmony Center, where human and alien scientists worked together on projects that boggled the mind. Corvan artists were teaching humans how to paint with music. Nethari psychics helped human doctors heal mental illnesses that had never been curable before. Valdris engineers marveled at human machines that could exist in 17 dimensions at once. Admiral, Dr. Somin called out from across the vast laboratory. The Andromedan signal we detected last month, we figured out what it means. Sujin hurried over to Somin's workstation. What did you find? It's not just a signal, Somin explained excitedly. It's an invitation. There's an entire galaxy of species out there who've been waiting for our local galaxy to develop enough wisdom to join them. Waiting for what exactly? For us to stop fighting each other and start working together, Somin replied. The message says they've been watching our progress for thousands of years. When they detected our reality manipulation technology being used for healing instead of conquest, they knew we were finally ready. Admiral Su-jin stared at the decoded message on So-min's screen. It was an invitation to join something called the Cosmic Community, a collection of galaxies where advanced species shared knowledge and protected developing civilizations. How many galaxies are we talking about? Su-jin asked. According to this, So-min said with wonder in her voice, over 1 million, all working together to help life flourish throughout the universe. That evening, the Galactic Council met in emergency session to discuss the Andromedan message. Representatives from every major species gathered to hear what humanity had discovered. This changes everything, declared Vexandra, the Nathari ambassador. Her psychic abilities had grown stronger thanks to human technology, and she could sense the truthfulness in the alien message. The question is, said Fleet Admiral Mordak, who now served as the Valdris peace negotiator, are we ready to represent our galaxy to the wider universe? Taejin stood up slowly. 6 months ago, our species were on the verge of destroying each other. Today we're healing worlds and preventing wars. I'd say we've made remarkable progress. But are we good enough? Asked the Zentari representative. What if these cosmic communities expect perfection? Then we'll learn from them, Taejin replied. Just like we've been learning from each other. Chairman Peltar called for a vote. All in favor of responding to the Andromedan invitation? Every hand in the chamber rose without hesitation. As the meeting ended, Taejin walked to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 1 million galaxies were waiting to welcome them into an even larger community. The thought was both terrifying and wonderful. His communication device chimed with a message from his sister Su-jin. The first diplomatic ship to Andromeda is ready for launch. Care to make history again? Taejin smiled. A year ago, he had been the captain of a single experimental warship, sent to prove that humanity deserved respect. Now he was about to represent an entire galaxy of unified species to the cosmic community. Send the message, he replied. Tell Andromeda that the Milky Way galaxy accepts their invitation. We're ready to learn what comes next. As Earth's first intergalactic ship launched toward Andromeda, carrying representatives from every species in the galaxy, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but for the first time in galactic history they would explore it together. The age of isolation was over. The age of cosmic cooperation had begun, and it had all started with a single human warship that chose to heal instead of destroy, to teach instead of conquer, to build bridges instead of walls. The galaxy had trembled when Earth's warship emerged, not from fear, but from the birth of something beautiful and new. The vote at the Galactic Council was not enough. While the official representatives agreed to invite humanity to join, powerful military leaders across the galaxy had different ideas. They saw the human ship's abilities as a threat that had to be eliminated before it grew stronger. Fleet Admiral Mordak of the Valdris Empire refused to accept the Council's decision. He gathered the largest battle fleet in galactic history, over 300 ships from 7 different species. The Nathari provided psychic battleships that could destroy mines. The Zentari brought planet-killer weapons. Even the peaceful Corvan Republic sent ships, fearing what humans might do if left unchecked. We cannot allow one species to have such power, Mordak declared to his assembled commanders. Today we end the human threat forever. On Earth, Captain Taejin received word of the approaching armada while standing in the rebuilt command center on Luna Base. His sister, Admiral Su-jin, stood beside him, along with their childhood friend Fleet Admiral Lee Do-hyun, who commanded Earth's hidden defense fleet. 300 ships, Do-hyun said quietly. They're bringing everything they have. Good, Taejin replied. It's time to show them everything we have too. Dr. So-min looked up from her science station. Captain, our deep space sensors are tracking the enemy fleet. They'll reach the outer solar system in 6 hours. Are our people ready? Su-jin asked. Engineer Mireille smiled from her position at the engineering console. The entire defense network is online. 27 ships, each one incorporating everything we've learned over the past century. Commander Kim studied the tactical displays. The aliens still think in terms of old warfare. Big ships, heavy weapons, overwhelming numbers. They don't understand what we've really built. The human defense fleet was small compared to the alien armada. Only 27 ships against 300. But these vessels were unlike anything that had ever existed. Each one could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their weapons could rewrite the basic laws of physics. Their defenses could turn enemy fire into harmless light. Fleet Admiral Mordak, Tae-jin spoke into the communication system as the alien armada approached Pluto's orbit. This is Captain Lee Tae-jin of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering human space with hostile intent. The alien commander's image appeared on the main screen. Mordak was huge with red skin and 6 arms. Battle scars covered his face from 100 victories. Human Captain, I offer you one chance to surrender. Your ships cannot defeat this armada. You're right, Tae-jin agreed. Our ships cannot defeat your armada using the old rules of warfare. Fortunately, we don't follow the old rules anymore. Enough talk, Mordak snarled. All ships attack! 300 alien vessels opened fire simultaneously. The space between Pluto and Neptune filled with enough destructive energy to sterilize entire star systems. Beam weapons, plasma cannons, gravity bombs, and psychic lances all focused on the small human fleet. The human ships simply disappeared. Where did they go? Mordak demanded of his sensor operators. Sir, came the confused reply. Our instruments show they're everywhere and nowhere. It's like they exist in a different universe that overlaps with ours. Admiral Soo-jin's voice came from empty space around the alien fleet. Fleet Admiral Mordak, let us show you what humanity learned while you were busy conquering weaker species. The human ships began to reappear, but they looked different now. Each vessel seemed to be made of light and mathematics instead of metal and plastic. They moved through space like thoughts moving through a mind. Dr. Somin activated the first demonstration. Around each alien ship, space itself began to change color. Red became blue, blue became green, green became colors that had no names. We learned to edit reality, Somin explained to the confused aliens. Your weapons work by following the laws of physics. But we can change those laws. The alien weapons stopped working. Energy beams turned into flower petals. Plasma bolts became soap bubbles. Gravity bombs created areas where everything became lighter than air. Impossible, Mordak shouted. Physics doesn't work that way. It does now, Commander Kim replied. We've been studying the basic forces that hold the universe together. Mass, energy, space, time. They're all just different ways of looking at the same thing. The human ship Infinity appeared directly in the center of the alien formation. Engineer Mireille had designed it to demonstrate humanity's ultimate achievement, control over time itself. Watch carefully, Mireille said to the alien fleet. We're going to show you your own future. Around the aliens, time began to move differently. Some ships experienced tomorrow, seeing themselves returning home in defeat. Others experienced yesterday, watching their commanders decide to attack Earth. A few experienced all possible futures at once, seeing every choice that could lead to peace or war. Stop this, Mordak demanded, but his words came out backwards as time flowed in reverse around his flagship. Admiral Do-hyun's ship, the Eternal, demonstrated the most frightening human ability. It began to exist in multiple timelines simultaneously, showing the aliens what would happen if the battle continued. In one timeline, the alien fleet was destroyed completely. In another, Earth was reduced to ashes. In a third, both sides survived but spent centuries rebuilding. In the most terrible timeline, the war spread across the galaxy until all life was extinct. These are not threats, Do-hyun explained to the horrified aliens. These are real futures we can see from here. We're showing you the consequences of your choices. The alien commanders watched their own deaths in dozens of different timelines. They saw their home worlds burning. They saw their children growing up in a galaxy torn apart by war. But they also saw something else. In one bright timeline, aliens and humans worked together. Ships that could travel between stars in seconds. Medical technology that could cure any disease. Weapons that protected life instead of destroying it. A galaxy where every species could reach their full potential. Choose, Tae-jin said quietly to the alien fleet. You can have war and see these dark futures become real. Or you can have peace and help us build the bright future instead. Fleet Admiral Mordak looked at the timeline where his own grandchildren played happily with human children on a peaceful world. Tears ran down his scarred face. All ships, he said slowly. Stand down. Lower your weapons, sir, his second-in-command asked in confusion. That's an order, Mordak shouted. I will not be responsible for destroying the galaxy's future. One by one, the alien ships powered down their weapons. The 300 vessels that had come to destroy humanity now floated peacefully in human space. What happens now? Mordak asked. Now, Admiral Sujin said, we invite you to stay for dinner. Our scientists have some amazing things to show your people. And maybe, if you're interested, we can start building that bright future together. The timeline displays around the alien fleet began to fade, leaving only the present moment, but the memory of what they had seen remained in every alien mind. Will you really share your technology with us? Asked a Zentari captain. After we came here to destroy you? Of course, Teijin replied. That's what friends do. They help each other grow. Fleet Admiral Mordak looked at his massive armada, then at the 27 human ships that had defeated them without firing a single shot. I think, he said quietly, that the galaxy has been very stupid for a very long time. Yes, Teijin agreed. But stupidity can be cured with wisdom, and wisdom is something we're happy to share. As the alien fleet accepted humanity's invitation to stay and learn, the dark timelines faded away forever. The bright future became a little more real. The Galactic Council chamber on Nexus Station had never seen such fear. Representatives from dozens of species argued loudly about the human threat. The Valdris ambassador showed recordings of Admiral Zelftar's encounter, but many council members refused to believe what they saw. Impossible, declared the Corvin delegate. No single ship can defeat an entire fleet. Technology does not work that way, added the Zentari representative. These humans must be using some kind of trick. But the Nathari Collective's ambassador, Vexandra, sat quietly in her chair. Unlike the others, she could read minds across vast distances. She had sensed something during the battles that terrified her more than any weapon. They are not using tricks, she said, her psychic voice touching every mind in the chamber. I felt their thoughts during the encounters. The humans have genuinely discovered new ways to manipulate reality itself. The council chamber fell silent. The Nathari were the galaxy's most powerful psychics. If they said something was real, it was real. Then we must destroy them before they grow stronger, snarled the Valdris ambassador. Vexandra shook her head. You don't understand. They're not thinking like warriors. They're thinking like teachers. They want to show us something, not conquer us. What could primitive humans possibly teach us? Asked the Zentari. Before Vexandra could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red as the council's security chief rushed into the chamber. Sirs and madams, he announced breathlessly, long-range sensors have detected multiple human ships approaching our position. The main screen activated, showing space around Nexus Station. 3 human vessels moved toward them. But these ships looked different from the Indomitable. They were larger, sleeker, and seemed to bend light around themselves. Open communication channels, ordered the council chairman. The screen changed to show the bridge of the lead human ship. A woman in a dark blue uniform looked out at them with calm, intelligent eyes. Her name tag read Admiral Lee Sujin. Honored members of the Galactic Council, she said with perfect politeness. I am Admiral Lee Sujin of the Earth Defense Force. We request permission to address this assembly. You request? The Valdris ambassador shouted. You bring warships to our most important station and request permission? Sujin smiled slightly. Would you prefer that we demand it? The chairman, an elderly Corvin named Peltar, raised his hand for silence. Admiral, state your purpose. We come to demonstrate why the galaxy should accept humanity as an equal member of the galactic community, Sujin replied. My brother, Captain Teijin, has shown you our defensive capabilities. Now I will show you our potential for construction and healing. Lies, the Valdris ambassador declared. Humans only know how to destroy, do we? Sujin asked. She turned to someone off-screen. Dr. So-min, please begin the demonstration. On the human ship, Dr. Park So-min worked at an advanced control panel. Around Nexus Station, space began to shimmer with golden light. The council members watched in amazement as the light touched the station's hull. What are you doing to our station? Chairman Peltar demanded. Improving it. So-min's voice came through the communication system. Your station is over 300 years old. The metal is weak. The power systems are outdated and several sections have dangerous radiation leaks. The station's chief engineer, a Zentari named Klixavon, checked his instruments. His 4 eyes widened in shock. The humans are right. But how did they know about the radiation leaks? We've kept those secret. Our sensors can see problems you haven't even discovered yet, So-min explained. Watch what happens next. The golden light grew brighter. Throughout Nexus Station, old metal became new and strong. Cracked walls sealed themselves. Ancient power conduits hummed with fresh energy. In the medical bay, broken equipment began working again. Impossible, Klixvon whispered. They're rebuilding our station at the molecular level. Admiral Sujin nodded. Humans learned to do more than fight during our isolation. We learned to heal and create. The Nathari ambassador Vexandra suddenly stood up, her mind filled with terror. I sensed something approaching, something with tremendous psychic power. That would be the mind bridge, Sujin said calmly. Our third ship, designed specifically to communicate with psychic species. A new vessel appeared near the station. Unlike the other human ships, this one glowed with soft blue light. Psychic energy flowed around it like water. On the station, Vexandra and the other Nathari representatives screamed as something touched their minds. But instead of pain, they felt peace, love, understanding. What are you doing to us? Vexandra gasped. Nothing harmful, came a gentle mental voice. I am Commander Kim Jae-ho. We've learned to enhance psychic abilities rather than block them. The Nathari ambassador's eyes filled with tears as her mind expanded. She could suddenly sense thoughts and feelings from across the galaxy. The fear and anger that usually filled her people's minds was replaced by calm understanding. How? She whispered. Humans are not naturally psychic, Kim explained. But we learned to build machines that can create and focus mental energy. We're sharing some of our technology with you. Engineer Choi Mi-rae's voice came from the first human ship. We're also upgrading your station's defenses, but not in the way you might expect. Around Nexus Station, new energy fields began to form. But instead of being designed to stop attacks, these fields were meant to prevent conflicts from starting. Any ship that approaches with hostile intentions will find its crew filled with peaceful thoughts, Mi-rae explained. Violence becomes impossible when people truly understand each other. The council members looked at each other with new eyes. The Valdris ambassador, who had been shouting for war just minutes ago, suddenly seemed embarrassed by his anger. You're changing us, Chairman Peltar observed. We're helping you become better versions of yourselves, Admiral Sujin replied. This is what humanity learned during our century of growth. Technology should improve lives, not just destroy enemies. The Zentari representative stood up slowly. Why are you sharing these gifts with us? After how we treated your species, Sujin's expression became sad. Because holding grudges is a waste of time and energy. We'd rather build a better future than punish the past. But what do you want in return? The Corvin delegate asked suspiciously. Nothing, Sujin said simply. We want to be part of a galactic community where all species work together. We want to share our discoveries and learn from yours. We want peace. Vexandra, still glowing with enhanced psychic power, reached out with her mind and touched the thoughts of every human on the three ships. What she found amazed her. They're telling the truth, she announced to the council. Their minds are filled with hope, not hatred. They genuinely want to help us. And if we refuse? The Valdris ambassador asked weakly. Admiral Sujin looked directly at him. Then we'll leave you alone and defend ourselves if attacked. But we hope you'll choose differently. The golden light around the station began to fade as the human ships completed their work. Nexus Station was now stronger, cleaner, and more advanced than it had ever been. We'll return to Earth now, Sujin announced. The galaxy has 3 days to decide if it wants humanity as a friend or prefers to keep us as strangers. The 3 human ships began to fade from view, becoming invisible to sensors once again. Chairman Peltar looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. The fear in their eyes was being replaced by something else. Wonder, hope. And for the first time in centuries, the possibility that the galaxy might actually become a peaceful place. I call for a vote, he said quietly. All in favor of inviting humanity to join the Galactic Council? Every hand in the chamber slowly rose. News of the encounter spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Within hours, every major government knew that humanity had returned. The Valdris Empire called an emergency meeting. The Nathari Collective gathered their strongest mind readers. Even the peaceful Corvin Republic began building new weapons. Admiral Zelftar of the Valdris Third Fleet received his orders while orbiting the military world of Nexus Prime. He was old, experienced, and had never lost a battle. His fleet contained 47 ships, including the massive dreadnought Starcrusher. If one human ship could disable 12 Valdris vessels, then Zelfatar would bring enough firepower to turn Earth's entire solar system into dust. Admiral, his aide reported. Long-range sensors have found the human ship. It's moving toward the Kepler Junction. Zelftar studied the tactical display. The Kepler Junction was where 7 major trade routes met. If the humans controlled that area, they could disrupt commerce across half the galaxy. Set course to intercept. Signal all ships to prepare for battle. On the Indomitable, Captain Tae-jin watched the Valdris fleet approaching. They were still 3 hours away, but his ship's advanced sensors could see them clearly. Dr. So-min worked at her station, making final adjustments to their new systems. "Captain," she said without looking up, "I'm reading massive energy signatures from the Valdris fleet. They're bringing everything they have." "Good," Tae-jin replied. "It's time the galaxy learned what humanity can really do." Commander Kim studied the enemy formation on his tactical screen. 47 ships in a standard attack pattern. "They're trying to surround us," Engineer Mireille shook her head. "They still don't understand. You can't surround something that exists in multiple dimensions at once." The Valdris fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a perfect circle around where they thought the Indomitable would be. Instead, they found empty space. "Where are they?" Zelftar demanded. "Sir," his sensor officer stammered. "Our instruments show the human ship, but it's everywhere and nowhere at the same time." Zelftar had commanded fleets for 50 years. He had fought pirates, rebels, and rival empires. Nothing in his experience had prepared him for an enemy that seemed to exist outside normal space. The Indomitable suddenly appeared directly in front of the Star Crusher. The massive Valdris dreadnought could have destroyed a moon, but now it faced a single human ship that looked almost small by comparison. "Human Captain," Zelftar spoke over the communication channel. "I am Admiral Zelftar of the Valdris Third Fleet. You will surrender immediately or face complete destruction." Tae-jin's image appeared on the Valdris bridge. The human looked calm, almost bored. "Admiral, my name is Captain Lee Tae-jin. I'm afraid we cannot surrender." "Then you will die," Zelftar declared. "All ships, open fire!" 47 Valdris warships fired at once. The space around the Indomitable filled with enough destructive energy to crack a planet's crust. The human ship vanished just before the weapons reached it. The deadly beams meant for the Indomitable kept going and struck each other. Explosions lit up space as the Valdris ships accidentally hit themselves with their own reflected fire. 3 vessels lost their shields. 2 more had their weapon systems damaged. "Impossible," Zelftar whispered. The Indomitable reappeared behind the Valdris formation. This time, Dr. So-min activated a device that had taken human scientists 20 years to build. Reality around the human ship began to shimmer and bend. "Admiral," Tae-jin's voice came through the communication system. "Let me show you what we learned during our century of isolation." Space itself began to change. The stars looked different. Colors that had no names painted the darkness. The Valdris ships found themselves unable to move, not because their engines had failed, but because the space around them had become thick like mud. "We didn't just improve our technology," So-min explained to the confused aliens. "We learned to work with the basic forces that hold the universe together." Kim pressed several controls on his panel. Around each Valdris ship, the air itself began to glow. The alien vessels were now trapped in bubbles of changed space-time. They could see out, but they couldn't move or fire their weapons. "Your weapons work by pushing energy through normal space," Kim told them. "But the space around your ships isn't normal anymore. It follows different rules now." Mireille added her own touch to the demonstration. The Indomitable began to multiply. First there were 2 human ships, then 4, then 8. Soon 16 identical vessels surrounded the trapped Valdris fleet. "Which one is real?" Zelftar asked his crew. "They all are," his science officer replied weakly. "And none of them are. I don't understand how, but they're the same ship existing in multiple realities at once." Tae-jin stood up on his bridge and addressed all the Valdris ships. "For 800 years your empire has conquered other species by having better technology and bigger fleets. You never learned to think differently. You just made the same things larger and more powerful." The 16 copies of the Indomitable began to move in perfect harmony around the trapped alien ships. Humanity spent our century of isolation learning new ways to think about reality itself. We didn't just build better weapons. We learned to change the rules of how weapons work. Admiral Zelftar realized he was facing something beyond his understanding. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing," Tae-jin replied. "We don't want to conquer your empire or rule over other species. We just want to be left alone to live in peace." "Then why are you here?" Zelfatar demanded. Why show us these impossible things? Because, Taejin said sadly, we know you won't leave us alone. The galaxy has proven that peace only comes through strength, so we're showing you our strength hoping it will bring peace. The multiple copies of the Indomitable faded away until only one remained. The bubbles around the Valdris ships dissolved, freeing them to move again. Their weapons came back online. Their engines responded to commands. You're letting us go? Zelfatar asked in amazement. We never wanted to fight you, Taejin explained. We're giving you a choice. You can attack us again and learn what our real weapons can do. Or you can go back to your government and tell them that humanity has changed. Zelfatar looked at his tactical display. His 47 ships were undamaged but completely helpless. The human ship had controlled space and time itself around them. If they had wanted to destroy the Valdris fleet, they could have done it easily. What message should I give my government? The admiral asked. Tell them that Earth's children have grown up, Taejin said. Tell them we remember how we were treated before, and tell them that next time we might not be so gentle. The Indomitable simply faded away, becoming invisible to all sensors. The Valdris fleet was alone in space, surrounded by the normal stars and empty darkness. Admiral Zelfatar stared at the place where the human ship had been. In 50 years of military service, he had never felt so small and helpless. The humans had weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. Set course for home, he ordered quietly, and send a message to High Command. Tell them we need to reconsider our policies regarding humanity. As the Valdris fleet turned away, space shimmered once more. For just a moment, the outline of the Indomitable appeared again, watching them leave. Then it was gone, leaving only the stars and the terrible knowledge that humanity was no longer the weak species the galaxy remembered. Captain Lee Taejin stood on the bridge of the warship Indomitable, watching the stars through the main window. His hands rested on the command chair as he thought about the message that had changed everything. 100 years ago, Earth had gone silent. The galaxy thought humanity was dead or hiding like scared animals. They were wrong. Captain, said Dr. Park So-min from her science station, all systems are ready. The new engine is working perfectly. She was young but brilliant, one of the best minds humanity had ever produced. Her fingers moved across the control panels like a musician playing a song. Taejin nodded. The Indomitable was not like any ship the galaxy had seen before. While other species had spent the last century fighting over old technology, humans had been thinking differently. They had been building something new. Commander Kim Jae-ho report, Taejin called to his tactical officer. All weapon systems online, sir, Kim replied. He was a serious man with sharp eyes. Though I hope we won't need them today. Kim had designed new ways to fight in space that made old battles look like children playing with toys. Engineer Choi. Mireille looked up from her console near the back of the bridge. Captain, the quantum drive is stable. We're ready to leave the asteroid field whenever you give the word. She had spent 10 years perfecting the ship's new engine. It worked in ways that should have been impossible. Taejin remembered the last transmission from Titan Station before Earth's great silence began. The alien races of the galaxy had called humans primitive warmongers. They said humanity was too violent and stupid to join their civilized society. The Galactic Council had given Earth a choice: submit to their rules or be destroyed. Earth had chosen a third option. They had vanished, but humanity had not run away. They had gone to work. In secret bases throughout the solar system, human scientists and engineers had spent a century solving problems that alien minds thought were impossible. They had learned to bend space and time. They had found ways to create energy from nothing. They had built weapons that could stop wars instead of starting them. Sir, So-min said quietly, long-range sensors are picking up alien ships at the edge of our space. Looks like a Valdris patrol fleet. The Valdris Empire controlled a third of the galaxy. They believed they were the smartest and strongest race alive. Their ships were fast and their weapons could destroy planets. For 800 years, no one had successfully fought against them. How many ships? Taejin asked. 12 vessels, including 2 heavy cruisers, Kim answered. Standard Valdris attack formation. They're moving this way. Taejin smiled, but it was not a happy smile. They probably think we're refugees from a dead world. Let's show them how wrong they are. The Indomitable began to move forward. Unlike other ships that needed time to build up speed, it simply started going fast. The new quantum drive didn't push the ship through space. It made space move around the ship. Mireille had explained it once, but even Tae-Jin didn't fully understand how it worked. "Captain," Somin said with excitement in her voice, "the Valdris ships are scanning us. Their computers can't figure out what we are." "That's because we're something new," Tae-Jin replied. "Open a channel to the Valdris fleet." The main screen showed a Valdris commander with blue skin and 4 arms. The alien's face was twisted with anger and confusion. "Human vessel, you will stop immediately and prepare to be boarded. Your species has been hiding from galactic law for too long." "Commander," Tae-Jin said calmly, "my name is Captain Lee Tae-Jin of the Earth Defense Force. We have not been hiding. We have been preparing." The Valdris commander laughed. "Preparing for what?" "Your destruction. Human technology is centuries behind ours. Surrender now and we might let some of you live as slaves." Tae-Jin looked at his crew. So-Min was excited to show off their new science. Kim was ready to prove that humans could fight smarter, not just harder. Mireille was confident that their ship could do things that would amaze the galaxy. "We tried to join your galactic community once," Tae-Jin said to the Valdris. "You called us savage and primitive. You demanded that we give up everything that made us human. When we refused, you threatened to destroy our world. And we still can." The Valdris commander snarled. "Your single ship against our fleet? This will be over quickly." "You're right," Tae-Jin agreed. "It will be." The Valdris ships opened fire. 12 vessels shot their most powerful weapons at the Indomitable. Energy beams that could melt mountains struck the human ship. Nothing happened. "Impossible," the Valdris commander shouted. "Our sensors show direct hits." "Your sensors are correct," Tae-Jin said. "Your weapons hit us." "They just didn't hurt us." He turned to So-Min. "Doctor, please explain to our guests how our shields work." So-Min's face lit up with joy. "The Indomitable doesn't use energy shields like other ships. We've learned to bend space around us. Your weapons are hitting empty space, not our ship." The Valdris fleet tried again. This time they fired everything at once. The space around the Indomitable lit up like a star being born. When the light faded, the human ship was still there, unchanged. "Now it's our turn," Tae-Jin said. "Commander Kim, show them what human tactics look like." Kim pressed a single button on his console. The Indomitable simply disappeared. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone. The Valdris ship spun around trying to find it. Their sensors showed nothing. Then the human ship appeared again, but now it was in the middle of the Valdris formation. Before the aliens could react, 12 beams of blue light shot out from the Indomitable. Each beam hit a different Valdris ship. The alien vessel stopped moving. Their engines went dead. Their weapons powered down. Their lights went out. "What did you do to us?" the Valdris commander demanded. "We turned off your ships," Kim explained simply. "Human technology doesn't just destroy things. It can also fix them, protect them, or in your case, shut them down safely." Tae-Jin stood up from his command chair. "Commander, take this message back to your empire and the Galactic Council. Humanity has returned to the galaxy. We are not the same species you dismissed a century ago. We have grown. We have learned. And we will no longer accept being treated as children." The Valdris ship slowly came back to life as the Indomitable released its hold on them. The alien commander stared at the human captain with new fear in his eyes. "Tell the galaxy," Tae-Jin continued, "that Earth's children have come home, and this time we're ready for whatever comes next."